I don't usually like to bring up super chats in the middle of the segments, but Clifflix has a great point here. For $5, can this park be built in less than 5 years? Well, let's go over here to Caroline Reed from Forbes. She asks, Disneyland Abu Dhabi expected to open within 5 years? I don't know if she's repeating someone else's analysis or if she is using her own at this point. It's very early on in this, but if you look, there's the concept art. Disney's new theme park in Abu Dhabi is expected to open by 2030, beating arch rival Universal's upcoming outpost in the United Kingdom by a year. Well, there's more than just that there. Go ahead.
Not exactly the same market.
Not exactly the same market. Absolutely. Also, they'll be paying the rush fees on this. The other thing is Universal should just now be breaking ground if they've got final approval. I'm not sure. Is there? I don't know if there's one more stage or if it's done deal. I think it's a done deal at this point. Abu Dhabi is already home to SeaWorld, Warner Brothers, and Ferrari theme parks, and land based on Harry Potter in development, as we've covered here before. Vash, go ahead.
I do apologize. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to derail this conversation or to interrupt Caroline Reed's excellent reporting right here. We do have to understand a couple of things in the lay of the land here. First of all, Disney's not paying necessarily the construction costs on this. That's going to be undertaken by Morale. So, how much they actually want to throw at this in order to get this up and operational as quickly as they want to, well, that's going to be on them. And the second thing is that this is probably not going to be a very large complex. It's probably going to be in the realm of anywhere between, I would say, 80 to 150 acres, maybe at max. So that's a far different prospect than, like, say, Epic Universe, for example, that was delayed by the pandemic. But I remember that park, they wound up in, it was like 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, right there. So this tracks. I do apologize.
This will be a smaller complex, for sure. So Disney will be the jewel in Yas Island's crown and is a crucial part of a long-term strategy to diversify the United Arab Emirates economy due to dwindling fossil fuel reserves. Notes here, and you guys should go check out this article from Caroline Reed. She's very smart and very well read on the subject, talking about what their transition is here. Here we go. It'll give a magic touch to Disney's bottom line, which is already rosy. In 3 months ended March 30th, Disney made operating profits of $4.4 billion on revenue, which rose 7% to $23.6 billion, and will give a glow to both its top and bottom line, as Disney will receive licensing income from it, but won't need to foot the cost for developing it. So looking at the OLC, here, where is it that we're seeing the, forgive me for struggling to find this here. I usually like to go a little quicker. Obviously, we're dealing with breaking news here. Universal theme park, ironically, a Universal theme park in Dubai, the other major city in United Arab Emirates, was in development until the 2009 financial crisis brought the curtain down on it. There's a tremendous affinity for American brands in the UAE with local branches of, and it's just a long stretch of all the different brands that are here. Let's see. The chains in the UAE are because a staggering 88.5% of its 10.2 million residents are expatriates. So 10 million residents in this area. That's it.
Yeah, this is, again, this is probably why Disney didn't engage in this practice before right here, but this might, sound repetitive to people who have joined this stream from early on, but we've had a lot of people that have joined here, and I just want to go ahead and reiterate here. This is, as Caroline Reed points out, this is an attempt by the United Arab Emirates to diversify their portfolio in terms of what they offer. With a less reliance on fossil fuels, obviously, to their economy, it's like, okay, look, can we diversify in some way? How can we do that? We can be a destination resort, basically, where we have a myriad of hotels, but also to theme parks to attract international visitation, because that's the thing. That's I think what's really the long-term play here, at least for Morale, is that the economics of this theme park enterprise are not going to come from locals with a significantly smaller population. It's going to come from international travel. And that's actually why the 45th president of the United States, Donald Trump, wanted, or how I should say, he was able to get the initial peace treaty, the Abraham Accords, actually signed, because he kind of played into that. He's like, look, if you want to diversify your economy by being a tourist destination, you really have to, put these squabbles to bed. And that's what he was trying to appeal to right here. And so Disney has been courted by the Arab Emirates, whether it be Riva or other enterprises out here to bring their Disney IP to this location for years, for decades, 20 years if I'm not mistaken, if I have my math 100% correct right here. And they've always said no. Universal tried, but unfortunately that didn't actually go through. Now with Disney engaging in this big way via their Abu Dhabi recent announcement right here, that suggests to me that things have changed. Maybe not with the economics related to this area, but maybe Disney's own internal economics, as we'll get into, I'm sure.
Right. And the thing that I want to bring up, first of all, the Ferrari world looking like it's in shade, which is a good idea out there. Maybe we can bring on this special guest to that park place as we talk about the economics of this park here. Welcome to the channel, Pro.
The economics are Epic Universe is coming out, and Disney needed an announcement. They needed to not be asked about Epic Universe. The economics are, there's a real question now, I think, whether or not Josh D'Amaro just secured the CEO role. You got to say with what's been done here today that Disney pulled a real hat trick, and Bob is the master of mirage, because at the same time that we've had the Snow White collapse, the Brave New World fumbled and bumbled its way at the box office, at the same time that Disney Plus can't find a way to track on Nielsen, they came out and they made everybody start talking about Disney Sand instead. So Disney Sand Resort is on the way, and hip hip hooray for Bob Iger. I think this is great. I just think that you're going to see a massive, and I mean truly massive, overreaction from the commentary class as they come in and they believe that this is Walt Disney World Resort. And Vash, listen, I'm looking at the area of land to build, and maybe you guys have something beyond what I know, but I don't see a space for this to go.
Vash, cue it up, Vash. We'll fill him in just a second, just as Miral will fill it in. By the way, I think the words you're going to be using here are Mirage Pro. I think that's alliteration, and it's very close. So this is
little living space, is what I hear.
Well, I think they will find land or make it themselves.
Yeah, I was going to say, just put it out in the water themselves.
Right. So this park right here, I think this area, and I cannot find the figure for the life of me. Where is it? They've got about 40 million people that come into this area on a regular basis at this point. So this isn't what we're talking about as far as, if they built another theme park, if they built a fifth gate in the Walt Disney World Resort, they would have the capacity for that, and they would have the automatic audience for it. But when we're talking about this is something that Miral had to pay the entire amount for this, because this just does not make sense unless Miral is paying for it, unless the Yas Island complex is paying for this park. The economics, I don't think, are there. This is a flex. This is an investment in the future more than it is something where Disney should be building here. Disney, in and of themselves, without this partnership, should not be building in this area. That's just a gut feeling. I don't have access to the exact economics on it so far. But hey, Vash, go ahead and show Pro where we think they're going to be building this park.
Yes, I believe we're going to be building this as part of this Yas Island complex right here, which actually features many theme park proprietors currently right there, like Ferrari World, for instance, Yes Water World, Warner Brothers World, and Sea World. And you can see right here the destination or the area of land that they are going to be building this enterprise right here. It's going to be along the coast, if I'm not mistaken, as part of this whole thing. I think Josh D'Amaro actually remarked on how, it's going to be a very unique location for us.
Here, right pause it when it hits the portal. That is where they're going to be building this thing, bro.
Out in the water?
Yeah, right there. That's what I think they're doing. I think they're going to show this shot, and then they're going to show the theme park there. That's the kind of people that they're working with right now. They're going to fill that thing in and put that
Okay.
crystal
But
castle right there.
But listen, if you put fine, you want to build a man-made island, cool. You got 5 years, and every acre of man-made island is so expensive that it boggles the mind. So it still can't be big. Like I was checking, there's no area to build on this that's greater than 200 acres. So the idea that you're going to make a man-made island that's greater than 200 acres, well, have fun with that to everybody involved. That's going to be a heck of a thing.
If we go back to the history of prior Disney concepts in this area, like Dubai, for instance, Riva, I believe Creative, if I'm mistaken, actually commissioned a entire theme park complex to be built out there in Dubai, that portion of the UAE right there, and actually got this art commissioned by Favali, who had done work for Disney in the past on a lot of theme park projects related to like Toontown, for instance, or Sunset Boulevard over there in Disney Hollywood Studios, Discoveryland in Paris, and so forth. They actually attempted to court Disney to utilize their IP and license out their product here for this distinct part of the world. And this project, again, this was dating back to 2014 when these images were actually originally leaked, wasn't any much bigger than, I would say, probably 60 acres or so. So using kind of the historical perspective here for just one moment, I would think that this is not going to be any bigger than maybe 150 acres out there in Abu Dhabi. So I'm not.
So let's just take note of how good Iger is. Now, folks are going to, and this is a preview of my video coming out in just a little bit, but everybody just sit back and soak it in, okay? Iger has destroyed the company in terms of its cultural relevancy. I get that. We harp on this all the time. He turned this company into a political, partisan job. Got it. But in terms of PR, I mean, you can't outdo this. The man is going to put a tiny little itsy bitsy theme park in the Middle East that he won't own, that Disney won't own, that they're not going to build. And this is going to take all the buzz away from Epic for a few days. And the pixie dusters are going to flood the internet with commentary on this. The investors are going crazy about it. This guy is a master of PR. At a time when the company could have absolutely been at the edge of disastrous announcements, he comes out and does this, and nobody goes, wait a minute. This is an 80-acre desert park you don't own? I don't know. Maybe they just leave it alone and call it Tatooine.
I think the real play here, bro, from Disney's perspective as to why they would do this now, because remember, they've been looking at this area of this region of the world to set up a new destination for over 20 years. Why would they do this now? I think it's the same thing that motivated Disney to partner with Oriental Land Company for Tokyo Disneyland back in the day. That was all about an infusion of cash, a one-time payment in order to fund the development of Epcot. At the time, it was $1.1 billion, if I'm not mistaken, which was a huge, massive cost back in 1982 when that park originally opened right there. They needed an infusion of cash. That was the only reason why they went forward with the Tokyo deal at that time, because previously Japan had come multiple times to Disney, and Disney had always said no. I think that was actually dating back to Walt's Day, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong there. In this way, you look at Hulu, right? They're looking at an $8 billion investment into the remaining stake in Hulu at this point, and then they've already earmarked $5 billion if that doesn't actually do the job right there. You're talking about, $40 billion of debt still on the books. They're still making interest payments on that debt right now. You're looking at a $60 billion investment for the parks division over the next 10 years. They need an infusion of cash, and I think morale through the United Arab Emirates is providing that cash influx. I think this is a one-time payment right here. This is not going to be a long-term revenue driver for the company, just like OLC has not been for the what, almost 40 years that's been open right there. So there you go.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Anybody have anything they want to throw in here before we get to super chats?
I just think that we should clip that thing from in here where Mickey Mouse and Minnie bow to the guys in the Abu Dhabian guys. Just because that kind of like, that's what the Western companies are doing with this right now. But the Pixie Duster reaction has actually been, from what I've seen on X, pretty negative.
Really?
Mostly just because of social issues, because human rights. What's going on in that area? They're calling Disney hypocrites now, from what I've seen.
Well, this does show, and
a lot of that on X.
I know why they're confused, but this does show where Disney's priorities lie. Ultimately, listen, my belief is that Disney, they don't care about the virtue, they don't care about the cultural issues. They care about power and money. That's all it is. And so Iger set up that whole, DEI situation at Disney to make him more money based on the number of people they hired who were of a certain, demographic. It boosted Iger's salary. It didn't boost revenues, but he was getting paid more based on how many people got hired that didn't look like him.
And he set that up himself. So, pinning the medal on himself and then trying to blame the board for fixing it. Interesting, the things that change when you get people from outside the company, like Hugh Johnston and Gorman, in the leadership of the Walt Disney Company.
I look forward to the Pride parades and in Disney Sand.
Pride will have an entirely different.
I don't.
But I think what I had mentioned before.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating.
All right, glad you got that out, Ron. The point that I made before was, I'm pretty sure that what Pro said when he came in, and I mentioned it before, Josh D'Amaro may have secured the CEO spot because, like I said, if they're doing business in the Middle East, they're not going to do business with Dana Walden.
Yep.
They're not going to respect her as an equal and come to the table in good faith with her. It's just not going to happen.
Well, okay, let's talk about that for a minute then. Does this, because, I have a video that came out at it came out really early this morning, 7 a.m. Eastern, that talks about it's now looking more and more like Josh D'Amaro is the CEO pick. Do you guys think this adds credibility to it if this is going to be the big thing going forward?
I think so.
I totally agree. There's no reason for Dana Walden to be involved in this anyways. I think Alan Bergman is just on the list because they haven't quite removed him from the list yet. Jimmy Pitaro is out. So it's Walden or D'Amaro if it's an internal candidate. So far, no external names are on the list. And if they're genuine, which they aren't always genuine, if they're genuinely trying to get into this market, Dana Walden is not the lady who's going to make that deal. That comes with many other strings.
No, and I think the betting markets actually have some odds on this, and I think 60% is going towards internal candidates. Like you said, Jonas, if it is internal, then it's likely going to be either Dana Walden or Josh D'Amaro. And at this point, Dana Walden, I mean, with the baggage that she brings, especially with her association towards a maybe prior administration, some officials there, it's like, well, do we necessarily want that heat versus Josh D'Amaro? He is in charge of the only profitable enterprise for the Walt Disney Company that's been funding all of their prep projects, all of their stuff in linear networks, Disney streaming, in entertainment and so forth. That all comes from the parks. So doesn't it make sense to have a parks guy at the top? I can only see that the history of having a parks guy at the top being Bob Chapek would be the only reason why the board would ever bulk. But again, Josh isn't Bob in this case. So I think if you were to finalize this deal and actually get this infusion of cash, we can already see the effects of that on the stock market. Then yes, this is a feather in Josh D'Amaro's cap.
Well, and what an interesting thing that Josh D'Amaro has overseen quite possibly the worst tenure of anybody leading the parks ever in terms of unpopular decisions, yet they're going to hawk out their Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck characters to the Middle East to make some extra cash to save their bohunkuses for another day. And he's going to get, and he potentially gets the CEO spot for this. I mean, you talk about what a thing.
Yeah. The other decisions from the other executives have been worse. That's why. It's bad in entertainment. It's bad in broadcast linear. It's bad in Disney Plus. It's not because Josh D'Amaro's decisions are that great. It's because those decisions were so bad.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.